AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Hey, Will. Hey, bud.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Bill Bender of the Sporting News in 15 minutes from right now. He's at Big Ten Media Days. Gets underway today. So we'll get a little preview. What are the big storylines there? Lance Moore will join us in a little more than an hour from right now. Lance Moore was out in San Diego with Drew Brees and Tyler Shuck and the Saints player-led workouts. Get a sense of what happened there. We'll preview camp with Lance Moore. Again, it's coming up a little more than an hour from right now. Nick Saban. I actually rode an elevator with Nick Saban at SEC Football Media Days. How about that? Who wants to touch me? Who wants to touch me?
So Nick Saban tomorrow at 4 o'clock? Is that what we're doing?
We're basically best friends.
Okay, yeah.
I actually just said good morning to him. You know the odd thing, though. And so I get on the elevator. There's like 2 other people. There was another conference going on. It was a sorority. Sorority was having their conference. You know, all the alums from the sorority. And there's these 2 ladies on the elevator, and then we stop. And Nick walks on, and he notices my badge, so he knows I'm there for SEC Media Days, right? Because he could see my lanyard, and he's like, I said, "Good morning." I didn't say coach. I just said, "Good morning." Didn't say anything else to him. Didn't want to bother him. And the lady's like, "What are y'all here for?" And so he doesn't say anything, and so I go, "Well, it's SEC Football Media Days. It's a college football sort of conference type deal." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And then another guy, we stop again. Another guy gets on the elevator. This older man carrying his luggage. Now he spotted Nick right away and went right in, and I'm like, "Oh man." But anyway, super cordial. Took everything in me not to be like, "Thank you for making my college years the best ever."
I know, right?
I mean, dog. I was a senior in 03. That's why I love that team the most. First one in 45 years. Thought it would never happen. The one SEC championship. So many things came to mind that I just wanted to say, and I just didn't say any of them. But we rode an elevator, so we're basically Nick Saban, huge fan of the show.
Yeah, AFR Karma for Nick. Here we go.
That's what happens. So Nick Saban was a guest on McAfee, and this is coming off of SEC Football Media Days, where we spend a week just diving into all the minutia of the league, coaches, players, predictions, all of it. And they got around to talking about Lane Kiffin, who, of course, was on staff under Nick Saban at Alabama. And Nick kind of went into what is a realistic expectation for Lane Kiffin year one.
I think that Lane did really well in terms of roster management, bringing 59 new players in. Very good recruiting class, but also a very good top-end bunch of guys out of the portal. They've got some really good players. Do they have enough depth on their team to be able to sustain the grind of playing the kind of schedule they have to play? And do they have the culture built to be able to do that? I don't think there's any doubt that Lane will be successful at LSU. I just don't know if it's realistic to think that turnaround is going to happen immediately. But I tell you what, Sam Leavitt, if that guy comes through at quarterback, I think they got enough pieces around on defense as well as on offense to really be a good team and be a contending team.
So there's a few things there, and listen, if Nick Saban says something, we're gonna talk about it, react to it, because he's the greatest ever. What I think I disagree with Nick Saban on. This is weird to say that out loud because he's Nick Saban. Historically, he's correct to say it's hard to expect a turnaround in year one. Historically, that's true. That's just not true anymore. And I know everyone's going to point out Indiana because it's the most obvious example. You know the stat. There's no team in the history of college football that had lost more games in their football history than Indiana. Kurt Cignetti comes in year one, he goes 11-1. Year two, he wins a national championship. That's the easy one. And the easiest one to point out. But you can also say, yeah, but that's an outlier. Cignetti was the right guy. And he was on Saban's tree, and he had the right thing. That's not everybody. And it's true that's not everybody. But it's also not just Indiana. Jerry Mack took over at Kennesaw State last year. And they went from last place in Conference USA to the Conference USA championship. They went from worst to first in 1 year at Kennesaw State. Jason Eck at New Mexico. They went 9-3. They missed the conference title game on a tiebreaker last year. So it's not just Indiana, and it's not just at the power level. In this era of college football, if you have the right protocols, if you have the right roster building philosophy and you hit, yeah, it can happen immediately. Now, Nick also mentioned he doesn't know if he'll have depth or culture year one. That's fair. My argument would be nobody has depth anymore. Nobody has proven depth anymore. Because the days of Nick Saban recruiting five-star class after five-star class after five-star class, and those guys staying, that doesn't happen anywhere anymore. Roster retention like that doesn't happen anywhere. At least not at the rate it did pre-NIL, pre-portal. So your depth has to come with who you bring in. And I would argue that nobody did a better job of that than Lane Kiffin, because they very intentionally went and signed guys in the portal. We've talked about them a ton here, who are proven college players that knew they weren't coming in and are going to be starters right away. Look on the offensive line. They added William Satterwhite from Tennessee. Who knew he wasn't coming in and beating out Braylon Moore? They added Darren Stray from Kentucky. Who knew he wasn't coming in and was going to be a starter right away? They added 9 scholarship wide receivers, guys who had played everywhere. From Roman Mothershed at Troy to Malik Elzy at Illinois to Jackson Harris at Hawaii to Winnie Watkins at Ole Miss. Go down the list. Trey Wilson, who was a former 5-star at Florida. They did add depth across, like all over the field because of how they very intentionally manipulated their portal class. But I do agree with him completely on the Sam Leavitt piece of it, because that's been my contention all along. If Sam Leavitt is the Sam Leavitt we saw 2 years ago, and you complement him with a running game that we think will happen because that's just the priority Lane Kiffin focuses on, then yeah, I think LSU can be a playoff team and a real contender. If he's not, then I think a lot of those things that Nick Saban brings up about depth and culture and all that stuff could end up biting you. Now, he did also say, Saban did, he did also address, the point of expectations at LSU.
So whether you like the expectations or not, I think, look, me as a coach, people talk about expectations like they're a bad thing. You can coach at Kent State, where I played, and they have no expectations, or you can be at LSU or Alabama, where they have high expectations. I'd rather be in those briar patches where they have high expectations. And, internally, you're going to do the best you can and put more pressure on yourself to try to make your team as good as you can make it, because you want to win just like the players want to win, just like the fans want to win.
Nick Saban, thoughts on the McAfee show, talking about Kiffin year one at LSU. Tigers were picked by the media 5th last week in the preseason poll. Told you mine, I had them 4th in the conference. Interestingly, was on the Chuck Oliver show earlier today, and Chuck disclosed that he picked LSU 2nd to make the SEC championship game year one under Lane Kiffin. I think it's certainly possible. Look, I could even point out Brian Kelly, which I know a lot of people don't want to give a hat tip, but he came in to a terrible situation after the final 2 years under Ed Ogeron, and in year one, they won 10 games. and won the SEC West. It can happen, but what happened? He hit in the portal on Jaden Daniels. You hit, and on a lot of those defensive players as well that came in. Mekhi Gardner, Jarek Bernard Converse, Greg Brooks, Joe Fuchsia. I mean, there's a lot of those guys that they hit on. And so it allowed that transition to happen very quickly. Now the onus is on Lane Kiffin. Lord knows they spent on it. All right, it's after further review. Hey, we're brought to you by Evamore, EVAMOR, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. Natural artesian water. Got my Evamore with me every single day. So they got 20-ounce, 32-ounce, and 64-ounce bottles. I love to buy the 4-packs of the 64-ounce, and I drink 2 of those 64-ounce bottles a day. You want a healthier alternative? Listen, you can even go read a lot of they can't make medical claims, but go to Google, read the Google reviews, and you'll see a lot of the things that consumers say have helped them in their overall health by drinking natural artesian water. Get the junk out of your life. Do something healthier for yourself or your family. Evamore, EVAMOR. Great local retailers and online at evamore.com, EVAMOR, Evamore.com. All right, SEC Media Days was last week. This week, the Big Ten takes the stage. Bill Bender will join us next. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
And Friday, after the show ended, I go home, and I get a text from Darren James. And he's at one of the casinos downtown. And it's a video of Darren with a couple of guys. Hey, Scone, saw these 2 guys. They saw my shirt. He had an Agent 225 shirt on. Said, man, we hear you every day on Scone's show. And so I sent a video. Point is, telling you about that, Darren is so intentional with the way that he delivers customer service, the way that he's so engaging. He says often, like, his goal is to put himself out of business. He wants to deliver such an exceptional customer service experience and make the home buying and selling process so easy and turnkey that you don't even need a realtor. But in the meantime, if you do, you want a guy that's going to work harder and has more results and better results and skins on the wall than anybody else. You want Darren James. Agent225.com, agent225.com. Call Darren James. Get your home sold.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Better coverage for less money. I say it every day. If you're a business owner, doctors, dentists, anything medical, law offices, accountants, CPAs, financial advisors, real estate offices, any professional office, restaurants, architects, engineers, every type of business, jewelry stores, bars, convenience stores, hardware stores, garden centers, every type of business has business insurance. Are you overpaying? Are you properly insured? Let Insurance Network of Louisiana shop independently for free to see if they can find you better coverage for less money. What if you could save money every month, improving your bottom line because you're paying less on insurance? You won't know until you let Insurance Network of Louisiana shop independently for free. 293-0450, 293-0450, 293-0450, or online at lainsurance.net.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
SEC last week, Big Ten this week. Bill Bender, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Hey, Bill, thanks for the time, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, Matt. Thanks for having me on.
It's our pleasure, man. We always appreciate you for making time. I would assume Indiana, can they repeat the success again, would be the biggest storyline. Am I on target there, or is something else going to dominate headlines this week?
Well, I'm sure Tony Petitti and, the Big Ten and this back and forth with the SEC over the control of college football will be one of the storylines. But, yeah, I mean, that's the stunning part to me is Kurt Cignetti is the main character at Big Ten Media Day. If you'd have told me that 3 years ago when I saw him first take the podium and get mad about being picked 17th, and now here they are, the national champs. And, I do think he's the main character, and it'll be interesting to see what he has to say.
Candidly, I know they got Hoover from TCU at quarterback. I'm not sure I know a ton else about their roster. Have they done enough this year, Bill, to be considered a contender again?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, they've got Nick Marsh from Michigan State. Charlie Becker's back. I think they have the right mix of pieces back from last year. And they had a ton of guys drafted, along with the guys they brought in from the portal. So, Turbo Richard comes in, and their running back committee should be really good. I think Hoover's obviously the key in getting a lot of notoriety. Carter Smith's back, an All-American caliber tackle. Defensively, they've got the middles back. The interior defense with Tucker and Landino. They're Elijah Hardy, Isaiah Jones. I like that if you're strong up the middle, that works out in any sport. And I don't know, they're not going to go 16-0 again, I don't think, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to contend for Big Ten championship and college football playoff, those kind of things.
We'll also be reintroduced to Matt Campbell and Kyle Whittingham at their new spots, Penn State and Michigan, respectively. Anything, Bill, from either of those guys you're maybe interested in hearing this week?
I think Matt Campbell just, I think it's tribute to his coaching style that so many players from Iowa State were going to follow him. Their schedule's really going to be a talking point because they don't play. The difference between Whittingham and Campbell this year is one of those guys plays Ohio State, Oregon, and Indiana, and the other guy doesn't. So, for Penn State, it's set up that they ought to be in the mix a little bit right away. And then, for Michigan and Kyle Whittingham, I think, unfortunately, he's going to have to answer a lot of questions about an athletic department and coaches and things that happened when he wasn't there. He'll handle it, I'm sure. But, Michigan just continually, it's like a summer tradition, unfortunately, for that school, that they're in the news for the wrong reasons, it seems like, every year this time of year.
Bill Bender is with us. So on Tuesday, Indiana will be the headliner kicking off, but Ohio State will also take their turn in Ryan Day. I mean, they're a perennial contender. What should we know about the Buckeyes here as we move through talking season and get closer to kickoff?
Their offense will be scary with Julian Sayin and Jeremiah Smith and Chris Henry Jr., impact freshman right away. Bo Jackson, the offensive line should be solid. The question for me is defense. Anytime they had the 11 starters from that national championship team 2 years ago, all of them were drafted, but none of them are there now, right? So I think you've got to wonder, who's going to step up on that side of the ball. It is, in my estimation, I've been around Ohio State football for a very long time, it's the toughest schedule I've ever seen for them. When you're playing Texas, Indiana, USC, Michigan, Oregon, just constant. It's going to be a really tough schedule. They go to Iowa, and you guys can laugh at that down there, but anytime you have to go to Iowa, it's like, I don't know what the SEC equivalent is of a tough spot to play in is, but that's always at Iowa.
We've seen it plenty. I mean, Kinnick, we saw the game a couple of years ago when Iowa blew the doors off of Ohio State there at right. Kinnick. So it could certainly happen. Is there a stretch on? We're looking at the Ohio State schedule right now. When you look at the schedule, is there like a make or break stretch that I know what I'm looking at, but I'm curious what you think. A make or break stretch on that schedule?
No, at the end when they play Oregon and Michigan. I don't know where they'll be at that point. I know the Texas game. I actually think the Texas game is the tone setter for the whole thing, much like it was last year, because they're playing down there. And I'm old enough to remember when they went down there, when they had the home and home with them in 05 and 06. They lose to Vince Young. They turn around the next year, and they went down to Texas and beat a Colt McCoy team, and it set them up for an undefeated regular season. So I like that game as a flashpoint game. You tell me. Where do you think the make or break stretch is? They just play so many good teams.
It's on the road at Indiana, October 17th. Then they get the open date. Then they go at Southern Cal, home against Oregon. that three right there. It's 3 and 4 weeks, but 2 of them on the road. You do have the open date in the middle. Bill, I don't know if you agree, but the committee is not rewarded a 3-loss team. So if they lose at Texas, you have very little margin for error after that. You really don't have one game to play with, and that 3 games in 4 weeks right there could be the one that defines if they're a playoff team or not.
Well, you know what? You're writing a column for me right now because I'm just thinking about the scenario that Ohio State goes 9-3 and loses to Texas, and it's kind of the same thing as last year.
Yep.
I can guarantee you it'll be a lot louder up here, though. Even as much as Texas was making noise last year, and I thought they had a really good case. I agreed with, had they not played Ohio State, I think they would have been in.
Sure.
Because I think they would have been in over Oklahoma because they beat Oklahoma. Or another wrinkle to that is, had they had a 9th SEC conference game last year, I think they might have got in. So it's one of those things where Ohio State will make that argument, and I have enough friends that will make that argument very, very loudly and not care what anybody thinks around them.
Bill, I want to come back to the ninth league game thing, so I'll get a thought on that in a second, but a few more I want to ask about. It's interesting. We've been talking now about 7 minutes or so, and I haven't brought up Oregon yet. They get the quarterback returning. I mean, they seem like a perennial contender. Is this rinse and repeat this year for Dan Lanning in Oregon?
Well, I think Amari Washington and several players on the defense are returning. Mateo Uiagalelei with Dante Moore. They were one, as we were putting together our Sporting News Preview magazine and I was writing the preview for Oregon, I just kept saying to myself, man, that guy's back too. That guy, wow, they've got a really talented roster. And we probably should be talking about them a little bit more, but some of that is tempered by what we've seen in the playoffs the last 2 years. And that happens in the NFL. It's going to happen in college football. We saw them get blown out by Indiana, blown out by Ohio State, and the schedule's reasonably tough. So I think it puts a little bit of pressure on Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning's in that class of best coach without a national championship. He's in the conversation. Guys like Sark and Lane and him and Marcus Freeman. But they've got to go out and do it. And this is as good a year as any for them to have that opportunity as one of the three teams that should be in the top 5 in the Big Ten.
What team are we maybe not talking enough about?
Well, I mean, we talked about Penn State, Michigan, USC. I mean, obviously it's a pressure-packed year for Lincoln Riley trying to get them in the playoff. Maybe Iowa, which is, and I hate to keep harping on it. Their schedule's reasonable. They find a way. The fact that they find a way to win 9 games without pass offense is amazing, and they'll probably get around that. I don't know how they do it, other than that their defense is amazing. Washington could be the answer to that, Damon Williams, and I know there was some doubt that he was coming back, but he's back, and they've got a talented roster. They recruited very well, so maybe that answer would be for the next season, because I think they're reaping the benefits of being in this Big Ten, where those West Coast schools, Oregon, Washington, USC, and I think UCLA soon, are all going to recruit a little better as a result.
At Bill Bender 92, if you want to give him a follow on X, at Bill Bender 92, you can read him over the Sporting News. Okay, I want to wrap with a thought on the 9-game schedule. I know the Big Ten has had the 9-game schedule, but they don't have the Power 4 mandate. This was a giant conversation last week down in Tampa, Bill, with the SC going to the 9th game, but still having the Power 4 mandate. An opinion on how you think the committee views the extra league game for the SEC, or what you're saying there with the Big Ten having a 9th league game already?
Well, I think the committee needs to be willing to let the 9-3 team in. And if the SEC is going to have that 9th conference game and the schedule matches, like, for example, Florida the last 2 years, and I know they didn't get there. Had Florida got to 9-3 either of the last 2 years, I'd have been all about them being in the playoffs. Because of it, last year in particular, their schedule was just absolutely brutal. So I think the committee needs to be willing to do that. I think SEC fans are going to find that the 9-game conference schedule is much more enjoyable. And I do think they're doing it the right way by playing at least one Power 4. That's how I would build a schedule as an AD. Play the 9 conference games, play one other Power 4 opponent, and then play 2 G6 schools. And you can have some of those regional games as a result. I know I'm a MAC grad, so I love seeing, Ohio University play some Big Ten teams and occasionally, try to beat one every once in a while. It's been a minute, but they'll do it again.
Bill, I would love to see a world where we only see, no disrespect to the Bobcats, where we only see Power 4, Power 4, but it's got to be unanimous scheduling. Like, no league is going to make that step without proof that they're going to be rewarded for doing that, or if there is some consistency, uniformity across scheduling. I would love to see the committee get there where they will reward a team for playing a tough schedule. We just haven't seen it yet. Maybe this will be the year.
I hope so. And then to your point, I wouldn't oppose 12 against Power 4 schools either. It would just make the games, the Saturdays, every one of them counts, right? Yes. We can't say every Saturday counts when you're watching games where it's 72-7.
Amen. Amen, Bill. You and I are speaking the same language. I feel like sometimes I'm fighting that battle myself. But it's going to be college football is almost here. We're about a month away. Talking season rolls on. The Big Ten's turn. Make sure you follow Bill at BillBender92, at BillBender92, and read his stuff over at the Sporting News. And then we always appreciate the perspective. Thanks for taking the time.
Hey, anytime. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much for having me.
Be well. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Football season is almost here. Everyone's competing to get the ring at the end of the season. Gents, if you're thinking of popping the question, getting down on one knee to present her with the ring forever, I was thinking of another like championship type pun, but whatever. If you want a beautiful ring, go to Lee Michaels. You want a beautiful diamond from the finest diamond mines in the world, natural diamonds, never a man-made or lab diamond in the case at Lee Michaels. Scott goes all over the world, goes to India on buying trips to buy the finest diamonds in the world to bring them right back here. Every diamond before it goes in the case, hand inspected by a family member. If you're thinking of popping the question, or maybe you got a special anniversary coming up, or for whatever you're trying to celebrate, thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, it's After Further Review. Thanks to Bill Bender for hanging out with us there. It's so interesting when I asked him about a sleeper, and he really didn't have an answer, because I think this is the disparity we're seeing. I don't mean this is a knock to the Big Ten, because the Big Ten has won 3 straight championships. They figured it out. But I do think one of the big differences as you look to the depth of the leagues, and it's the SEC, the Big Ten, and then every big, enormous drop everybody else. We talked last week about there being 8 SEC teams that believe themselves to be legitimate playoff contenders. There are 8 teams that think they should be in the college football playoff. And it's the ones we talk about: Texas and Georgia, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, A&M, Bama, LSU, Tennessee. Those eight all think they're getting in the playoff. Well, the SEC ain't getting 8 in. So you're going to have some really disappointed fans. But the flip side of it is, when I asked them about the Big Ten, it's Indiana and Ohio State and Michigan, Penn State, because the schedule works out really in their favor, Oregon. After that, who's the sleeper? It really isn't an answer. Maybe Iowa, maybe Washington. I mean, it's just a dramatic difference. You're talking about an 18-team league where 13 teams don't have a realistic playoff expectation. Half of the SEC does. That's the difference between the leagues. But the top is indisputable right now. When 3 different Big Ten programs have won the last 3 national championships. See if the SEC can upset that apple cart this year. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here, halfway home on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows, official partner of LSU Athletics. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. Quick break. Saints hit the field for training camp tomorrow. Lance Moore's here in 45 minutes. But of all the 8 last-place teams from a season ago, who's got the best shot of going worst to first? We're talking about next on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Watermark, Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. Not me saying it, you said it. Best of 225, Watermark voted the best hotel in Baton Rouge. In a couple of weeks, on Saturday, August 15th, it's the Capitol Gala, the Best Dressed Ball downtown. Cannot wait for that event. Our buddy Mac Chiwilli from Traction is going to be one of the honorees there at Best Dressed. Maybe you're going to be downtown at Best Dressed, or for any event that you have going on downtown, always remember Watermark. Watermark's right there on the corner of 3rd and Convention. It's walking distance to the River Center. So if you're going to be downtown, don't drive or drive home. Just make a weekend out of it. All the great bars and restaurants downtown that are all walking distance, the great sites in downtown Baton Rouge. Explore downtown Baton Rouge and keep Watermark Baton Rouge right at the center of it. If you're having an event, no place better than Watermark Baton Rouge.
After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
Stay in the game with LouisianaSports.net. Text LSN to 225-499-1045 for breaking news. Instant updates on LSU, the SEC, and everything happening across the sports world. It's free, by the way, at LouisianaSports.net. And while you're there, check out the Our Partners page. You can discover more about the local legends backing your favorite shows. It's the Our Partners page at LouisianaSports.net.
You just family'd it.
I very much so, yes.
point I've said over and over for years.
That was tough.
I don't think he was faking the accent. I really don't. I think he just did what you just did.
Yeah.
And what the uniform designers at Nike did to the Bills uniform.
Oh.
Have you seen this?
Bro.
Oh, my
Good.
God.
Yes. Oh.
Whatever the physical representation is of that throw up that Muse just did on himself verbally, that's the Bills uniform.
Yeah.
Pull that up, Paulie. This is called the Nickel City combo. I didn't know this, but apparently there's like a Buffalo nickel, which I've heard of, but the Buffalo nickel was minted from 1913 to 1938. It featured a bison on one side, which makes, I don't know, the decision to remove the buffalo from the helmet.
Yeah.
Even dumber. Like, what is that? What is that? Just a red stripe around the back of the helmet?
With like a little indention in it. I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Like, seriously, is that the tail? What is that supposed to be?
It's just a red stripe with an indention. The blue face mask is horrible too, by the way.
The whole thing is terrible. This is an absolute atrocity.
Yeah.
This looks like. I mean, it looks like everyone always says Arena League. I mean, this is XFL, UFL, like something where you're like, I know you're playing football because you have a helmet and shoulder pads on, but you don't look like anything. And that's bad.
And the Bills' uniform is so good.
I'm glad the Bills actually went to the white helmet, like their old school, the blue jersey, white pant. And I get throwbacks. Or alts. It's a way to sell more. I mean, I know what they're doing. I mean, it's just all it is it's an economic play. It's an opportunity to go sell an alternate uniform. It's why they all do it. It's why you see like the City Connect basketball uniforms with the stupid skeletons things that New Orleans does, and the city. What the city? What in baseball they call like City Edition?
City Editions, yeah.
That's why like the Red Sox have the stupid yellow ones for the Boston Marathon. It's just stupid. But it's something to sell. It's just another thing to sell. So because once you've bought your home and your away jersey, you got them. So what do? You give them a new product to buy. And this is terrible.
What's worse, the Bills' Nickel City uniforms or the Saints, air quotes, all gold?
Oh, the all gold.
You think? Okay.
That was an absolute abomination. At least gray is like a muted thing that no one's going to be offended by an all gray thing. The gold thing that the Saints did was, I mean, that looks like something you see in the toilet after a night of bad food. You're like, what is that color? That's the Saints uniform. Terrible. Nickel City. Look, I'm not just a total old curmudgeon. I mean, I do believe I've said this often, if you have an iconic look, stick with your iconic look. It's why, like, you don't ever see Michigan. Like, Michigan wears the winged helmet because when you see the winged helmet, you know what you're looking at. Brand, it matters. Like, can you imagine McDonald's getting rid of the golden arches? No, you don't even need the word McDonald's. You see the golden arches, you know exactly what it is. Nike swoosh, you don't even need the word. You know what the logo is. Like, it's one of the things I always yell about with LSU. Your gold, white, gold is your iconic look. If you go white helmets, purple jerseys, white pants, you may aesthetically think that looks okay, but what if someone's watching, they go, oh, is that TCU? Oh, that's LSU. Like, I never want that to happen ever. I want people to put on an LSU game and know what they're looking at. So if you have an iconic look, stick with it. I don't think the Bills have an iconic look. They have a nice-looking uniform, what they've gone to now. It's a nice-looking uniform. I wouldn't say the Bills uniform is iconic. The Packers, the Cowboys, the Steelers, the Raiders, those are iconic looks. So I'm not opposed to the Bills doing something different if they want. This is just a really bad choice. That's my point. Oregon wants to do 10 million uniforms because that's your thing? Because Oregon does not have an iconic look. So if your thing is you wear 10 million uniforms, then go. They built a great brand around that. Go do it. Were you were going to disagree on the iconic look?
I was, but then when you started naming the teams, it made sense to what direction you were going. That's so I was just like,
you look at the star on the
sense.
helmet, you know what you're looking at, no matter where you are in the world. The Raiders, silver and black, you know what you're looking at. no matter where you are in the world. The Packers, you know what that is. The Steelers, the logo on one side, the black helmet, like, you know what you're looking at. Don't mess up an iconic thing. The Bills are not iconic. We've seen the most Bills highlights because the dude that murdered 2 people, they've shown his highlights when talking about the fact that he murdered 2 people.
Hey, Twitter. Well, no, not Twitter. Hey, X world.
The absolute worst. Rest in hell. All right, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Location. Oh, I got it. Awesome message. It was on Morning Scone yesterday. I need to go find it. There's a gentleman who commented and said, Matt, needed tires, went to Shaw Bills. Thank you. I'm a customer for life. And it's exactly what I say all the time. When you got to buy tires, you're going to go there because they're the cheapest. Like, they're going to give you, they're not selling you like discount tires. They're selling you the best tires at the cheapest price. That's not how they build their economy. Their brand and their business is built on the fact that they are going to create a lifetime value. They're going to give you tires really, really cheap, but they're going to treat you so amazing that when you need an oil change or your tires are rattling, you need an alignment, whatever it is, you're going to go to Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills. We keep you rolling. This was interesting. I don't know that we necessarily need this list because we have odds makers that took care of this for us. But CBS Sports put out, just for the sake of conversation, this was John Breach, the best chances of going worst to first in the NFL. So the 8 teams that finished last place last year: Jets, Browns, Titans, Raiders, Giants, Lions, Saints, Cardinals. The odds of going worst to first, and they had Cardinals at worst, obviously with the lowest percentage chance. By the way, the Cardinals are plus 10,000 to win the NFC West.
But how?
It's an NFL team, bro. It's the National Football League. Any given Sunday, they're plus 10,000, not to win the Super Bowl, plus 10,000 to win their division.
That didn't make any sense. They just extended Jacoby Brissett. I mean, come on.
It's actually a smart thing that they did. Restructuring him the way they did, the 1-year deal and the money. It made sense what they did. I get what they did. I'm not buying them. Don't misunderstand me. But
like, got the ticket. It's plus 10,000. He's betting it.
Plus 10,000? You're going to tell me it's not worth a flyer to hold the ticket?
Just a flyer.
This is a little Bruce Marshall picking Kentucky to win the SEC play.
Indiana did it.
Indiana did it. Will Stein stepped up and said, Google me, effectively. So just for context, so the Jets, so Arizona, they have plus 10,000. The Jets are plus 1,900. And the Jets are awful.
I was about to say the Jets are a train wreck.
And you got 5 times better odds of the Jets winning their division than the Cardinals. Goes to show you, like condolences to whoever is, condolences Arch Manning, you're going to be in Arizona. Now, Glendale's gorgeous. So not condolences for that. Golf, beautiful weather was there just a few months ago, but playing for the Cardinals, condolences. Yeah, what were you going to say?
No, I was saying, like, yeah, the Jets are a train wreck. The Jets didn't have 1 interception last year. Remember that?
Yes, and their head coach is a former defensive back coach and defensive coordinator. Apparently players matter. By the way, so the top 2, by the way, they have the Lions second and the Saints with the best chance of going worst to first. This is according, again, to CBS Sports' list. The Saints were 6-11. They're at plus 265 to win the NFC South. And they note that it's a surprise the Lions are not at the top of the list, basically because they have the second easiest strength of schedule, and they're in the most winnable division. Excuse me. Now, what is worth noting is that that's just the CBS Sports list. The odds have the Saints plus 265, which is the second best odds in the division behind Tampa. But the Lions are plus 180. So by an odds perspective, the Lions at plus 180 have the best, like the Giants are plus 600. The Jets are plus 1,900. Titans plus 800. I'm just looking at the odds here. Browns at plus 2,100. Raiders at plus 2,000. The Cardinals at plus 10,000. Plus 10,000. I mean, I get it. Like the Rams and the Niners and the Seahawks. I get it. But The Lions were the best team in football 2 years ago. They went from first to last place. Like, it can happen. It's the NFL plus 10,000. It's worth holding the ticket. Anyway, but the point being, the odds makers have the Lions as the most likely to go worst to first. The Saints are second behind them. This is a list that actually picks the Saints, and it's the reason that I agree. It's my contention on the Saints is the New Orleans Saints this year are not contenders. This is not a team that is going to be a Super Bowl or championship contender. I do not believe so anyway. What I do think is the ceiling for this Saints team. Tyler Shough gets better. You gave him good weapons. You fortified your offensive line. You had a top 10 defense in the NFL last year, which is what we all forget. This was a top 10 defense in the NFL last year. They were 9th in the NFL in total defense. Or is that enough against the second easiest strength of schedule in the league to go 9-8 and win a bad division? I think so. I think that's the ceiling. And man, your division winner, you get a home game in the wild card round. I think it would be an incredible year 2 step for Kellen Moore if they can pull it off. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll wrap up hour number 2 with Tigers and the Pros. Lance Moore in 30 minutes. Don't move.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local, Clegg's Nursery. By the way, that Garden Center on Greenwell Springs, that is the largest garden center in the state of Louisiana. It is an outdoor oasis. I mean, it is like a garden wonderland if you've never been. And if you're not familiar with where it is, I mean, it is right outside the city limits in Central. Like, if you're leaving Central coming in on Greenwell Springs, coming into downtown Baton Rouge, like, you pass the sign that's like, welcome to Central, or thank you for visiting Central. I mean, it is immediately on the right. So, like, you can't miss it. But there's locations all over greater Baton Rouge. So if you want flowers or plants or trees or shrubs or soil or mulch or any of that stuff, tuned wind chimes, bird feeders, doormats, they got everything. All of your outdoor decor to beautify your outdoor spaces. Clegg's can help you. So, buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery. Amigo Owls is the latest concept from Brandon and Mackenzie Landry. Of course, Walk-On Small Sliders Supper Club, and now Amigo Owls. On Highway 30, if you're going down Highway 30, which of course is Nicholson, you pass U Club a quarter mile on the left, you'll see Amigo Owls. But if you're thinking, Matt, that sounds awesome, love Brandon, love Mackenzie, love what they've done, great restaurateurs, Amigo Owls, great quality ingredients from Mexican food, the margaritas, but that St. Gabriel's far. Got a great news. They're now on all the third-party delivery apps. So Uber Eats, DoorDash, have Amigo Owls delivered to your door. And even their fresh margaritas, the best tequila, the freshest juice, so it's not just sugar water. It's going to give you a headache the next day. It's Amigo Owls. Hey, it's Monday night. Instead of cooking tonight, punch up DoorDash, Uber Eats, get Amigo Owls delivered to your door tonight. Amigo Owls, right there on Highway 30 in St. Gabriel.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Thanks as always to Brandon and Adrian Holly over at Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades. Relief Windows, proud partner of LSU Athletics. Amuso, Tigers and the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, we'll begin in minor league baseball, as a matter of fact. Cade Anderson and his boat. No. He went to St. Paul's.
Don't tell Haldane. Brain, you're fired.
Cade was awesome yet again. 5 innings. That was no hit ball, by the way. Shutout. Didn't walk anybody, punched out 7. He got the win, 9-1 with a 1.27 ERA for his efforts. Was named Texas League Pitcher of the Week. By the way, Cade Anderson, here in July, has walked 10 and struck out 115. What are we doing? What is this? This is professional baseball.
He's pitching against Southern in the midweek is basically what's happening.
This is double-A ball.
Respect to Southern. How about this? He's pitching against Texas Southern in the midweek.
He's making a mockery of professional baseball. It's incredible. So good on you, Cade Anderson.
Up, you coward!
Yes.
We're coming up on August.
Yes.
He needs to be an August call-up.
He does, 100%. Kevin Gausman did his did his part, but the rest of the Blue Jays didn't. He threw 6 innings, just 3 runs, punched out 6 in a loss at Fenway on Sunday. Dylan Cruz, it's starting to happen here for Dylan Cruz.
Okay.
3 for 5, a
Let's
double.
go.
The other 2 were singles. He did come around to score. 228 is the average, not great, but when you consider where Cruz has started, that's a really, really good improvement. Dylan Cruz's former LSU teammate, Tommy White, is just mauling Major League Baseball right now, dude.
Good.
2 for 4, scored twice. He's hitting .323.
Let's go.
So far. I mean,
is he 7 games in?
Or
is it 8
I can look it up right now for you.
Go ahead.
8 games. 8 games for Tommy White. And Grant Taylor. We'll wrap with Grant Taylor. He threw a shutout inning of relief with a walk and 2 strikeouts, and the White Sox 12-3 win over the Houston Astros. That is Tigers in the Pros.
We're presented by the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEye.com, Williamson, EYE.com. Hey, moms and dads, I want to remind you, of course, back to school is coming, and for many of you, you can't wait. Yes, get them back to school. But remember, before you send the kiddos back to school, make sure you get them their annual eye exam. You want to be able to see the board, you want to be attentive, all that sort of stuff. Got to make sure, we do everything else we're supposed to, right? Like if it's all your other checkups that we're supposed to do, like make sure you're taking care of your eyes and your children as well. WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com. You want to see 2020, call 924-2020. They are a full-service optical shop, so they can do your eye exam. Of course, they can fill your contact or glasses prescription. And, of course, if you're thinking of ditching the contacts and glasses forever, they have many different refractive procedure options to help you get rid of the contacts and glasses forever. It's the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. Okay, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here on this Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Hope you had an awesome weekend. We got a ton to get to here in hour number 3. Lance Moore will be with us in 20 minutes. Lance Moore, former Saint great. We'll talk a little Saints camp, but also remember, Lance was out in San Diego for the player-led workouts with Drew Brees and Tyler Shuck and the receivers. Lance Moore was there. So I want some perspective on the guys in that receiver room. Tyler Shuck will do all that with Lance Moore, preview camp and everything that's coming up in 20 minutes. And Mark Wise, SEC Network basketball analyst, will be with us as well. The SEC announced the basketball schedule. So what are we looking at year 1 for Will Wade? We'll get to that next hour as well. Stick around. Sports Center's coming up. We just caught up on national headlines. Next, it's AFR.
AFR.
So fired up to have our friends at Hancock Whitney on board here at AFR. I'm fired up because sometimes there are natural synergies that make sense with a lot of these endorsements. Well, I've been a Hancock Whitney customer for as long as I've had a checking account. Hancock and Whitney merged years ago, and I've just stuck with them. I've been with Hancock Whitney forever. And as I moved around town, my branch has varied. Like when I was a student at LSU and I lived in Mid-City, the location on Government Street was the branch I went to now. Where we live now, the Highland and I-10 location is where I go, and they know me by name, and it makes banking and my financial situation so much easier when you walk in and they know your name, they know your financial situation. HancockWhitney.com, HancockWhitney.com/Matt, by the way. If you go to HancockWhitney.com/Matt, you can get up to $600 after opening Freestyle checking and Freestyle savings account. HancockWhitney.com/Matt. Minimum deposit, account opening balance, other requirements apply. Learn more at HancockWhitney.com/Matt. Member FDIC.